What's up everybody, Gundam Flexing here, and in this video we're going to be checking out Bandai's Dimensional Submarine set. These submarines are featured in the very popular show Star Blazers 2202. This box comes with a set of 4 submarines which are 1/1000 in scale. So in this video we're going to check out these submarines that you see in front of you, and then we're also going to compare it to a smaller model which is 1/1500 in scale. So without further ado, I'm going to use this submarine, the one at the very front, and we're going to check it out. So in this set, you come with obviously 4 submarines, and you also come with 4 individual stands. These stands, right here, are pretty unique. Here we have a front plate, which is available for the stickers, which is right here. So these stickers comes in pretty much a pair of 4s. At the top, you have a black background written with silver letters, or at the bottom you also have a silver background written in black letters. So these are obviously interchangeable, and they're meant to go on the stand right here. This stand is very limited. In other words, it doesn't move. The torque portion doesn't move either. It's very basic. And if we were to add the submarine on top of it, just know that the submarine can't twist or turn. It runs parallel with the stand, and the only thing it can do is shift itself up or shift itself down. But now that we're also on the topic of stickers, aside from the stickers for the stand, at the back you also have these water decals. So these water decals on the right is essentially for your torpedo tubes. These are very light orange, and because the torpedo tubes are like yellow, it's supposed to be transparent, so it gives it a little bit more color. And then on the left side here, if I'm holding it upside down, so I guess on the right side right here, is also some nomenclatures and some markings for your submarine. These are very small, so to me, I didn't add them because I don't think it really makes a difference. So these submarines, again, come with many small pieces. Now there's primarily the main body here, which is the top, which is like a teal greenish color, and at the belly of the submarine is primarily a gray color. Now the elongated portion of the submarine essentially comes in 2 pieces, right? It has your left piece and then your right piece, and you sort of slap it together, and the gray piece at the bottom is essentially the same. And all you have to do is put all these body pieces together and then focus on the articulation and the periphery of the submarine. And that's where you have a lot of small pieces. So if we look at the front of the submarine, here is a single fin, which is pretty cool. And on the sides, right here and here, you have additional small fins. If I bring up the submarine close, you can see there's articulation, and there's also a lot of panels, or a lot of lines. Now, if you think about, if you're thinking about doing panel lining, pretty much I don't think it would work, because these lines are very superficial, and even if you were to run your finger over them, you could barely feel the dent. So unless if you have a scriber or something, it's best to leave this one alone. If we look at the torpedo tube, again, this is a yellow transparent type torpedo tube. You have one on each side right there. And pretty much that is like the only color outside of the gray and bluish teal green. If I bring the submarine a little closer, you can see there is a gap between the top portion of the submarine and the bottom portion of the submarine. And a matter of fact, the gap is a little bit big, so you could actually see all the way through it. And it's very unfortunate, because no matter how hard I squeeze or put the pieces together, this gap will always exist. And unfortunately, because this model is identical to the other 3, it also exists in them too, which is sad to think about, because this model would have almost been perfect if it wasn't for that gap. And now that you see it, you really can't unsee it. We move to the center of the submarine. We have the fins up here and the fins right here, and these are also individual pieces. The deck of the submarine is gray, and at the front we have these little cute little beam cannons. And at the back we have the head of the submarine with its antenna mast, and also with another set of turrets. Now most of these small pieces are individual pieces. So like the head of the submarine comes with multiple pieces that stack on top of each other. And whenever you put it into the main body of the submarine, you need to be careful, especially about applying pressure. For example, the back of the turrets right here where my thumb's at, I wasn't careful with the first submarine I was building, so when I was pushing in the actual turret, I accidentally bent the barrels. And once you bend them, not only are they warped and out of shape, they're also discolored, which makes it pretty noticeable and pretty ugly. So be careful how you apply the pressure whenever you put in small pieces. And now as we move to the back of the submarine, we have multiple fins right here near the end. And we have 6 fins right here, along with a propulsion system right there, and 2 propulsion systems right there and right there. One thing you want to be careful is that most of these fins are individual pieces. If not, they fit on a single piece. And the top fin right here is very loose, like that. It literally applies like almost no pressure to knock this thing out. And I've done it so many times. In the future, I am going to apply some Tamiya cement on all these small pieces just to push it in a little bit tighter. If we look at the belly of the submarine, this is what it essentially looks like. You have these really cool fins that run down the front. And you also have a lot of panels right here as well. Of course, you have your little stand right here where it connects to your stand, and the propulsion systems at the back. So this submarine is, again, 1/1000th in scale, and because it has its own stand and its own stickers for the stand, I think this is really meant to be like, for example, maybe on your office desk or something like that. So let's go into the smaller submarine, which is, I think, 1/1500th in scale. And here it is. And it does come with its own stand, and obviously it's much smaller. Now there are significant differences between this model and this one, and not just in terms of size, but also in terms of the torpedo tubes and the coloring. So this guy comes in a smaller box, which is about this big, whereas the 4 submarines come in a box that is pretty much typical of like almost a master grade, which is funny because all the runners are pretty much identical. So let's look at the small submarine. It comes with its own little stand right here. And similar to the model, it is primarily in like a green bluish color, and the other colors at the bottom is gray. Now it's funny because although this is smaller, it doesn't have a lot of cracks and seams that are open that you could just see it through the other side. It does have the fin at the front, the fins at the sides, has that little turret right here, has the head of the submarine, has your little turret at the back, and of course you have your fins. So this is much smaller. And if you pay attention really closely, you could see that I also attempted to panel line the little indentions right here and actually all throughout the ship. And here's a good example right here. You can definitely tell that I panel line the fins at the back as well. And it does add like a little bit of weathering effects to it. So funny enough that this is actually about like $5. The smaller model is about $5, but the models behind total for a single box is like $40. So essentially this is $10, this is a $5 model. And although this is much bigger, I would say because of the seams between the top and bottom piece, because I notice it, especially if you built it, you definitely know the flaws. I really can't say that this is a phenomenal model, especially when I compare it to a smaller submarine set. It does have an advantage that the stand is like bigger and you're able to shape the direction of the ship. And it also comes with 4. It does come with like this cool yellow tubing, but to me that doesn't really make much of a difference. So can I recommend the 1/1000th scale? Yeah, if you're a fan of the show of Star Blazers, it's a phenomenal show, especially if you're into these type of space opera, space battle type things. But the smaller model isn't as bad either, so you could definitely check out the smaller model first. And if you like it, then you might as well just YOLO it and just get the bigger box for the 1/1000th scale, knowing that you come with 4 bigger submarines. Now, however, in the future, if Bandai were to ever come out with more particular models in the Kikan Taizen, this is what it is, the Kikan Taizen. Now, if it ever came in a model like this, I would highly recommend it. So this is Kikan Taizen for pretty much the same thing. Star Blazers 2202. Now this thing here costs roughly around $100. Now that is a model If you watch my older videos, I did do an unboxing on this. Now this is a model truly worthy of eye candy or your office desk candy. It is not only is it incredibly articulate, it also comes with batteries to show you lights in the thrusters and lights in the areas where it shoots like these lasers. It's really, really cool. So in the future, if Bandai ever does come out with a model for the Kikon Taizen, and I would definitely get it for the Submarine set. But at this moment, between the 1500 scale right here or the 1/1000 scale, I could safely say you may want to try the 1/1000, or excuse me, the 1/1500 scale first before getting the 1/1000 scale. It's not as detailed as I'd like it to be. There's a lot of small pieces, so be careful with the warping. If you really want to get rid of that seam difference that you could even see right here, I'll definitely use some cement. That's all I have to say about this video, guys. I hope you found it informative. If you have any questions or comments, please post it down in the section below. As always, thank you for watching, and then I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.